welcome back to Wigscape with Amy Gibson and
Kathleen Leonard.
So this is a really cool segment because I actually don't do bonding. Kathleen does all the bonding and all the adhesive work for CreatedHair and her own business, Kathleen's Secret Salon in Los Angeles. But for those of you who want to learn how to glue their piece down, especially with an all lace piece, this is a really important segment for you. And I will be asking the questions because honestly, I'm going to learn along with you, okay? Hi, Kath.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. All right, so this is an all lace piece, yeah?
Yes.
So let's just show, this is a 360?
Yes, this is all lace.
Okay.
And it does have lace around here, but it's not pretty much, you can glue it all the way around, but
Let's just show them.
like you can't even tell. It's all the way around.
All right, but we're gonna actually only be gluing the top today? Okay,
Yes.
so let's put her back on.
Now this is for people who have either no hair at all or like they pretty much lost the whole front of their hair. This is what I like to use the glue for. Not for people who have hair, because what happens is you'll pull the hair out with the glue, and we do not want to do that. That we have another segment we talked about the got-to-be glue. That works good with people who have edges so that you're not breaking your hair off. That's a great tip to know.
The other thing though is I have never been a fan of gluing onto a lace piece because I feel like it pulls the hair through. But you're gonna kind of go over how to avoid a little bit of that. Is that what this is? Okay,
this is
let's
how
go.
to put it on properly and how to clean it off properly.
Yes, cool. Okay.
Okay, so first of all, we're gonna sit there and we see that she's right here. We wanna know exactly where you wanna put it on because this is where...
Do you want a pin to keep her in shape?
No.
Okay.
This is where we're going to have her start at.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit back because we want it to look as natural as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go a little
bit
closer.
forward.
And see, so that way you know exactly where you're going to go. And you can always put a dot there if you need to with makeup, but try not to put too much because sometimes it interferes with the glue. We do not want that to happen. One thing I like is the walker's tape that is very easy to get. This is something we came out with years ago. And then we have another one, is the Ghost Bond. The Ghost Bond goes on white, but it dries a little bit more matte. And the walker tape is a little shiny, so you have to be careful how much you put on.
But does this go on, does it end up being clear by the time you use it?
Yes, if you put it on too much, it could look cakey or gluey, so you have to be very careful. That's the problem we have with this. If you do put too much on, it looks like it's a matted glue. If you put too much of this, it gets too shiny. So, the great thing about this, since you're the only one using this is for you at home.
Which, this is the Walker?
The Walker's glue.
What's it called?
It's the Walker's tape, Ultra Hold. It's really good. Now, and they have their own little brush to come with it, which I do like. Otherwise, you can always put it into a container.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Which we're just going to put that into a container. And I'm going to start pulling the wig back. Pull the wig back, not forward. We want to put.
Oh, you're going to put it on the scalp?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we want it to sit here and dry a little bit. We don't want it too wet.
So I see you're not putting a ton on the brush either. It's really light.
Very little.
So how far over are you going to go? To the temple or just how far over here?
Well, we're going to go through from one edge to the other edge so that you get a exact way to be able to put it on. Now, if you have like your temples, you would follow the temples, do very slowly and go down.
Let me put this way so we can see. So.
Yeah, and you see it's very easy and clean when you do it that way. You don't try to sit here and touch it and get control. You just let the brush do it. And you just take very little and just keep stroking.
Now, are you layering this again, or is just one layer of glue?
Well, I would actually do one layer of glue because when you start doing 2 layers, and if you don't let it dry, it gets cakey.
Okay.
But if you do it very fine, you shouldn't have to do more than one.
All right. Cool.
Okay, so we're going to put this aside. Now, as I go, see as it gets a little dry.
So you're going to move the hair out of the way.
Yes, and you want to see it starts to be tacky. You want that tackiness. You don't want it to see, this is a little too wet. So what you would do is you would blow dry it or air dry it. We're not going to use the blow dryer today because it's too loud. But this gives you an idea, but because it's almost there. See how perfect that is?
Whoopsie, girl.
Okay.
And you have to line her up right is the other thing. So
yes.
when you're going to do this, you got to line her up.
See, and her middle point is right here as I line it up to her middle point as I put it on. And I put it right at the edge and slightly give it some pulling so that it's not.
So this way, so it's not bubbling up,
yes,
right?
so it doesn't bubble up.
Oh, that looks so good. Oh, that looks so good.
So that it lays flat. And I like to use the rat tail comb because it's a little bit smaller and it has different things, so I can go in there and push it down. And you can always clean up any glue that is showing afterwards on the edge if you feel like it, or you can push the hair right into it so it just looks like it's coming out of the scalp.
That's so great. I only worry about how you're going to take this thing off.
Oh,
and if the hair is going to be ripping
easy.
out with it. And
no, it's a very easy step.
well, I just want to show what we're doing here.
So now that you see that all of this has been done, and all we have to do is put some more here, but you can see how it just lays
It's pretty good. Yeah, that's really good.
Look at that.
Especially when you take the baby hairs out. Remember, wigs want to be messy, right? A little messy is authentic. When it's too patted down, it doesn't look right.
But
so I like that she's a little messy.
And you can see that you could just lay her right here.
Oh, great.
Now, if you have any bubbling where you missed a spot, the great thing is you can go and hit your edges right underneath. So that way you can get a little closer. You can just take it, and I'll show you right now because I have a little right here. And we'll finish putting this on because we do want to flat iron her. And then, but I will show you how to remove her as well. She is looking amazing. And see, look at how you're not even having to worry about her.
This looks really good up here.
And you just mess with her baby hairs and just like this, and you lose the edges totally.
And we went over baby hairs. There's a video there that you can pull up and how to make baby hair. That's awesome. So you can follow that as well for the baby hair part of it.
Because see it totally on this side, she has no hairline. You don't see it. She can pull her hair back and put it behind her ear, and bam, she's gorgeous.
And I think the important thing to mention here, even though it's kind of bubbling up here, you do want to bring her, as you're gluing her down, you want to make sure there's no bubble.
No,
so you want to bring her down like that.
Slowly, and make sure you keep the tension so that she doesn't bubble. And once again, I'm doing it very lightly, not too much. Get a little bit of hair in there, don't worry about it. It'll lay down with it. Don't stress yourself when you come to little things like that. You can always work it in, because that will happen from time to time. Where's my rat tail comb? Just go down like this. And ladies, she is laying well. Now we're gonna let her dry.
That looks really authentic. I like it.
Now there's a little space right here.
So let's show what you're talking about when you say there's a little space. So you see this little bit that's lifting right here?
That you might
She's
have
gonna put a
missed.
teeny bit right there at the end so it lays down nice and flat.
Yeah. And you have to be careful. Just take your time with this. Do not rush, because it's a very messy job otherwise.
So would you say men's pieces are more difficult to do than women's pieces?
Oh yeah, I'm very, well.
You think men's are more difficult?
The men's are extremely difficult if I'm doing a prosthetic piece for the whole top when it comes to bonding, because this is just a lace front. We're not doing everything else. So we want to make sure that we keep everything taut, and when you let it dry or use the blow dryer to dry it, what it's going to do is going to keep it flat as possible. She looks freaking amazing. So now that's with the Ultra Tape, and now with the Ghost Bond, usually we would just do dot, 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 dot. And I like using these brushes because then with makeup brushes, you have to constantly clean them, and I could dispose of these.
That's just a regular paint sample
Yeah,
brush.
and we use
like
these as makeup schools too.
Oh, okay, cool.
So these are great with makeup because you can just it's like a sponge on a stick. So I can just go in here and go like that and just
dab,
dab, and smooth it out. so that way we don't have any mess. Let's get this dry. This has to dry. Because we put this, now this is what happens when you put it on when it's almost dry, it lays down perfect. If you put it on when it's wet, this what happens to you. It bubbles because it cannot grab because it's too wet. So this is a great example for why you should always let it dry first on this side. Now you notice that we put it on instantly and this side is now having a little bit hard trouble, so you have to hold it down. So this is a good lesson to learn. It takes a while, but you can always dab it down, but it's easy to bubble. So you always want to make sure that it's almost dry so that you never have this problem. Because it keeps wanting to lift up, because it can move. The glue can move because it's dry. So this is something you really need to know. You want to understand why does your glue mess up? It's because it's wet when you put it on. So this is the problem. You notice this side laid down so perfect in the top. So you want to make sure that you have that. You want to make sure that you always keep it as dry as possible. Like this will not move. She will be able to keep this on for at least 2 weeks if she wanted to. So look at how beautiful that is. She could. Some people keep it on 3 weeks. They're amazing with it.
I think it looks good.
If you sweat, you're going to break out for 2 weeks. You want to make sure you remove it. But
So then we're going to go through removing this now.
yes.
Okay.